Hello, everybody. This is the Andrew Dennis Show.
Hey,
The Egocast. Welcome back. How you doing?
fair,
Fair.
pretty fair.
Anything
You?
interesting happened in the week?
Let me think.
To answer your question, I'm doing fine.
Oh, how are you? I did ask.
I know you did, and I ignored you long enough to get you to say something, and then I interrupted you.
Okay.
That's my joke. So, all right. Do you want to get into your WrestleMania critique?
It's not a critique because I know I don't really watch wrestling anymore, and I know you don't. I used to like it back in the day,
Back when we were children.
about 5 years ago.
Well,
But I guess WrestleMania 30 is here and past, and I don't know who most of these people are. I mean, I've heard them in passing. Like, I know John Cena is, and
yeah.
he looks like a jack off,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Oh no, he definitely looks like a jack off.
But I guess Triple H is still wrestling. I see that, but he lost to someone named Daniel Bryan.
I thought that he was in charge now because he
Yeah,
married the
he's-
boss's daughter. I thought he
he's
was running
the-
shit.
Yeah, he's the new Vince McMahon, I think. I don't know.
Oh, so he's still wrestling, but it's always kind of like a joke.
Yeah, it's just like,
Uh,
well, Vince wrestles.
yeah, but it's always kind of like a joke.
Yeah.
That was
But then the big thing is Brock
Kiss
Lesnar.
my ass.
Brock Lesnar's not really. Well, I guess he has wrestled in the past, but then he's also been in the UFC.
He's Division 1
Yeah,
wrestler, man.
that too.
Yeah.
But then I always liked The Undertaker, and he had the streak at WrestleMania, like
It's like 15 years or some shit like that, or
at
20 years.
Yeah, and they just had I know wrestling's real to the fact of where they pick the finishes. I know that, but why would they pick Brock Lesnar to be the one that
Well,
takes down the Undertaker's streak? Is he retiring?
they're bringing Brock Lesnar back to wrestling, right?
Guy can't wrestle full time. He's got medical conditions. That's why he had to quit UFC.
Well, he can't fight UFC. He's got to have a job. He got big because of the UFC thing, and now they want him back in wrestling.
Yeah, but he can't wrestle full time because of the medical condition.
So
I've been
he
reading,
wrestles
he
on
doesn't-
the big main events.
He just wrestles at pay-per-views, really, and comes and beats someone up.
So I guess he's like Hulk Hogan used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
Like all the named guys used to be back in the day before there was a shit ton of named guys. They would wrestle once a fucking month on TV. That's why it was always a big thing to see Hulk Hogan because he'd be like, "Oh shit, here comes Hulk."
Yeah, but from what I'm reading, though, it was actually dumb for them to do that.
What?
Like, ratings are down. Everything's down after that's WrestleMania 30.
Oh, because of Undertaker or because wrestling is kind of jackass stuff?
I don't think the fans were happy with Brock Lesnar coming out of the blue and beating him.
So?
That's it. I just thought it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. Dude, I haven't watched wrestling in so long. It is sad to see the Undertaker's streak go down.
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess
they're pushing Brock for something. He's gonna be champion in another 3 or 4 fucking pay-per-views, and
some people are claiming that Undertaker losing was not in the original plans. Might have been accidental.
now that is a fucking messed up accident. How does that even happen?
I don't know.
Brock fucking clocked him real good, knocked his ass out. Huh?
I don't know. I guess we really didn't have to bring it up, but I was a fan of Undertaker, and
I was a fan of Undertaker when I was a
Just
kid. He
didn't make-
fucking terrified me. I thought he was great.
just didn't make sense to me why he would lose to someone. I mean,
Well, Brock Lesnar, he's a giant fucking guy.
yeah, and I rooted for him when he was UFC. I can see him beating him, but it just doesn't make sense for storylines. And They have
Well,
writers for the show.
We're not watching the show, so we don't know what the fuck the storyline is.
I guess I'm gonna have to like do some research and figure this out.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up. In total ignorance. Makes me not feel
No,
so
it was
alone.
just so shocking that I saw, and it was just weird.
All right, well.
It's better than what you wanted me to watch this week.
No. What I wanted you to watch is a great show. Breaking Amish is fucking cool. It's on Netflix now, season 1.
Yeah.
For anybody that's interested in watching the show, you should turn this off right now and start watching episodes.
No.
And then come back to this later after you've
Pause
watched
it.
the
Don't
whole
turn
thing.
It off.
And then hilarity will ensue when you listen to the rest of this. I thought it was a good show. I watched it with my girlfriend. We binge watched like 5 episodes. It was entertaining as far as reality TV
But
goes.
you weren't interested in it when it was actually on.
What do you mean?
When it was actually on TV, you weren't interested in it.
I don't have cable. I can't watch. All I have is Netflix. I don't even know when it was on.
I don't either. I hate reality shows.
I love reality shows.
Okay. I'm glad you do.
Well, I don't know. They're entertaining when you want to just shut your brain off and watch stupid people do stupid things.
I'd rather watch a movie or play a video game.
Yeah, but those have substance. You gotta have a good heavy dosage of no substance in your life.
That's why I watch zombie movies.
Yeah, but those have substance. Sort of. Well, when they make the zombie reality show...
They did. It's called Walking Dead.
No, that's a fucking load of horse shit. I can't stand that fucking show.
Agree.
I like more zombies in my zombie shows. Fucking these assholes just standing around talking about how much they hate each other. And then fucking once a season you get to see some zombies. Ugh. Fucking so stupid. But anyways, Breaking Amish, it's a great show.
As phony as it is.
No, I completely and utterly think that's real. They're real Amish kids. And they're really in New York. They're, independently wealthy.
Very.
Or the show is giving them money, which I think is more likely.
I don't think they're actors, but I think they were all shunned beforehand. They seemed a little too relaxed, even though they were pretending they weren't.
Well, they said that they were shunned pretty much.
Not all of them. They only said one of them was shunned. Or 2 of them.
Well, when they were interviewing them in the first show, you never really saw them talking to anybody else.
Yeah, that's because they were pretending they weren't shunned.
Okay. What's your point?
I
think they were pretty transparent about that shit. They had talked about how the one girl, Kate, she had gone off to Florida and gotten drunk driving, and she was shunned from that.
What you also don't know, they were all shunned for something. They were all sneaking out. They knew what the English world was.
Yeah.
You haven't watched the entire series like I have because you irritated me.
Because I tricked you. Because I tricked you into watching it so I wouldn't have to watch the whole thing. I didn't want to watch after the second episode. I was like, okay, I pretty much get the point of this, but by
the time at the end, they find out all kinds of things. Supposedly, the producers didn't even know.
Oh, really?
Pictures them outside in the English world already, experimenting with it. The whole point of the show was 5 people who was going to shun and go away from their lives, possibly get shunned.
Yeah, they did.
To find out new experiences. When you come out and find out at the end, they already knew everything.
Well, okay, so what if they'd never been in New York before? That's new for them then. Don't look at me like that. That's new. I mean, have you ever been to New York?
No. Yes.
No. Well, yes or no?
I've never been
to
the
man.
City.
Okay. Well, what's going on now?
I've never been to the city.
What reality show are we going to do based on you fucking going someplace and doing everything for the second time?
Egocast.
Fuck you. No, fucking. Maybe they had never been to New York before. New York is a very different place than anywhere else
All
in
right,
the
I'll
world.
agree to you. But the one girl, Kate,
Hot.
went to Florida
Hot.
because she got shunned.
Oh, what a body.
But already had friends there in Florida where she can stay for 2 weeks until she can come on the show.
They were Amish people.
No, they weren't Amish people.
Well, they were other hot chicks. You know, they live in clusters.
It's called packs.
Packs, clusters, whatever. I call them a coil of hose.
Coil hose.
Yeah, I like that. I'm always like that one. Well, dude.
The show just seemed very phony to me.
Yeah, but they never really played it off like it wasn't, I didn't think.
They played it off of the fact there were supposedly 4 kids, except for these 2 that had problems in the past,
Yeah.
that had never been out of their communities.
They never said that they'd never been out of their community.
That's how they set it up at the beginning.
No,
They're
they
leaving
didn't.
so they possibly should be shunned and never come back.
Because in the first show they showed Kate in fucking in
I
the
said
courtroom.
with the possibly except for those 2.
Well, Jeremiah had said that he had left before.
Yeah. The others said they haven't.
Okay.
They all did.
Okay. So you got lied to, and that's why you're upset?
That's why I don't like reality shows.
Because they lie to you?
Yeah.
What do you think other TV shows are? It's people lying to you.
Yeah, but it's fiction.
Lies! It's all lies. But fiction portrayed as reality. That's a reality show.
Yeah, but I know when I'm going into this one, they just do stuff for ratings.
So because of the fact that you are so ignorant in life that you don't realize that reality shows are all set up, that's why you're upset.
No,
Nobody goes into a reality show.
I realize
real.
they're all set up. That's why I don't like watching them.
Well, then why do you like watching anything else? What's a show that you like? Come on, it's not a trick question. What's a show that you like?
A lot of shows.
Name one.
Futurama.
And it's made up entirely because
Really?
those aren't even real people.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Your comparison doesn't even make sense.
Sure it does. All TV, everything you see on TV is all made up shit. Everything.
Fine. Your argument makes no sense.
How does that not make any sense?
You can't set up something like that. 5 Amish kids who are going to leave their homes, obviously get shunned. When you come to find out at the end of the show, they all left their homes already.
Yeah.
They all been shunned for some reason. And it's supposedly a whole new experience for them, and you watch it come out at the end. They already knew all this stuff.
Yeah.
What's the point? That's not the show
to show a bunch of people making fun of Amish kids. I don't know. To watch 5 people living in a hotel together and to see what happens when things get real and stop.
That's why I didn't watch that show either.
Well, I don't know. Well, I kind of tricked you into watching it. I didn't think you were going to watch the whole fucking thing, but I knew I definitely wanted you to watch some of it so that I could anger you.
The whole show was a lie from beginning to end.
Yeah, but it was fun to watch.
No, it wasn't.
You didn't think that was fun to watch?
No.
Seeing those 2 kids
I could have watched
get together.
15 zombie movies.
Seeing those 2 kids get together.
They were already together. They find that at the end.
But they were so much in love.
They knew each other before they even met on the show.
They said that. They came from the same town.
And had a kid together.
Well, that's what happens in the Amish communities. You have kids with everybody. I think. I don't know. Well, that's all you have to say about it is that you hated it?
Yeah.
Was there anything about it that you liked?
It's
Kate's hot body?
Okay, I'll give you that.
Num num.
I don't know about her face too much.
Well, she needs a little proactive.
A little soap.
But, she definitely got a fucking rockin' body.
I did like Rebecca's no teeth.
Yes. The 10 on the show.
Yes.
Because she has no teeth. That's a tip for all you ladies out there. If you're a good solid fucking 7 or 8, you want to get bumped up to a 10, take out your teeth. or or just go the long route and wire your mouth completely shut, and then men will love you.
I do have a question about Mennonites, though.
Okay.
Besides,
I will answer it with all of my knowledge that I learned from the show.
okay, okay. Let me clarify the question first.
You haven't even asked the question yet.
Exactly.
All right.
You live on a farm as a Mennonite. You're
Yes.
allowed to have TV, radio, and stuff like that.
Sure.
Allowed to drive a car.
Yes.
The only problems I would have is the outfits you have to wear, and you can't watch certain things.
Okay.
But if you can get around that, what's the difference between a farmer and a Mennonite?
Anal sex. Farmers are allowed to have anal sex.
According to the one show we just watched 5 minutes ago, they do have
Yeah.
animal sex.
Animal sex. Which brings us back to furries. Furry news later today, just so that you all know. What the fuck noise is that?
That was a pig. Don't ask me.
That is not a... Ugh.
All right, here it is. Animal pig.
That sounds like a pig doing a pig. There's a pig.
I won't use animal pig number 2 anymore.
That's a good one. I like that one. It's a man bear pig noise. There. That's a man bear pig noise. That's a horse. All right.
Like I said.
So you didn't like the show.
No, I didn't.
I don't understand that. I just don't get it. I think you don't know what good is. But don't worry. I will scour Netflix
and have me watch
and
something
I will
else.
find a show that I can force you to watch that you will like. There's our new weekly bit, making Dennis watch reality television. All right, you want to start going to the news now?
Sure.
We got some political stuff. We're gonna step away from the racial talk.
Okay.
For probably 1 week until it comes back into the news. I do look up stuff like the morning before we do this show. You know, it's whatever's in the news. So don't bitch at me about.
I'm glad you put more work in it. I only look at the new stuff when we're doing prep.
Yeah, I know. Pisses me off. All right, this is from the New York Times, and it's an opinion piece, an op-ed as they call it. We should be in a rage. Voter apathy is a civic abdication. There is no other way to describe it. If more Americans, particularly young people and less wealthy people, i.e. Democrats,
make abs? Oh, sorry.
No, went to the polls, we would have a better functioning government that actually reflected the will of the citizenry. No, I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, wealthy people or young and less wealthy people are still voting for politicians.
Yes.
So that ain't going to change shit. Because at the end of the day, you're still voting for politicians.
Right.
And the popular thing in politics right now is not doing shit. Because anytime a Democrat wants to do something, the Republicans say no. Anytime a Republican wants to do something, the Democrats say no.
Correct.
So,
or at least it seems to be.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that that's more the way they play it off so that they can just not do anything. But, it doesn't matter how many people are voting. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. Right?
I agree.
All right, then.
I think this country, or the United States, is going to have a big shape. I think we're going to have another civil war soon.
You think so? You think it's going to be a economic war? The poor people are going to go after all the rich people?
I don't know exactly, but I wish I remembered who said this to me. Every great empire has fallen.
Oh, every one of them.
And we're on 200 plus years now?
Yeah, we're getting to our time.
So I really think it's going to be a civil war. Economical sounds good.
Most likely. I mean, it's probably going to be drag the rich people on the street, strip them naked and wet type of thing.
It's because we don't have balances with the economics over here.
No, well, that's capitalism. If you want money, you're going to have to actually do something with yourself.
Even the people who do stuff doesn't make money.
Well, that's where it's getting to now.
That's when.
And that's where the problem is going to come from. All right, moving on. That's not the way it works. Voting in general skews older and wealthier, and in the midterm elections, that skew is even more severe. As David Wasserman wrote in the Cook Report last year, voters under the age of 30 were 19% of all voters in the 2012, but just 12% of all voters in 2010. Likewise, voters 65 and up were 17% of all voters in 2012, but 21% of all voters in 2010. Herein lies the biggest danger for the Democratic candidates in 2014. So this is already leaning that way. Now we hear murmuring that Republicans hold a slight advantage going into 2014, not strictly because that's the will of the American people, but because that may well be the will of the people willing to show up at the polls. That's the American people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. I don't vote. That's the beauty of me. I have better things to do with my time than to take the time to research who's going to be the best person who's going to fuck me the least. And that's the problem. It always comes down to who's going to fuck me the least. Not who's going to do good things for me. Who's the better of two evils? You hear that shit all the time, the lesser of two evils. And that's what it always turns out to be. Because nobody's good. None of them are. They all want to do things to line their own pockets. That's why you get into politics. That's the purpose of it. Make money. Because nobody does shit for free. If people did things for free, then you would have, well, we're looking out for the betterment of society as a whole. As soon as they started paying politicians, that was a problem. I think they should all work for free. There's my platform.
Let me have an opposite view on this real quick.
I encourage you to have an opposite view.
Some people would say that you shouldn't have an opinion because you do not vote.
Yeah, I've heard that.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think I still live in this country, and I'm allowed to have an opinion, but
because all assholes have them.
No, because all assholes have opinions. Here's the wonderful thing. That was a good one. Here's the wonderful thing about me. I have an opinion, and I'm willing to voice my opinion, but I'm not willing to pretend like my opinion fucking matters. Everybody who votes goes into that voting booth really, really thinking that somebody somewhere gives a shit about what they think. Right now, what is it? 85% of Americans believe that weed should be legalized.
I think it's higher than that, but okay.
Well, let's say that it's 75%. Majority rules, right? In our quote-unquote democratic society. Majority's supposed to rule. So why the fuck isn't weed legal?
Electoral college.
No, well,
I don't want to get on a weed debate.
No.
I can go on for hours.
It's not a weed debate. It correlates with what we're talking about. The thing of it is, if 65% of Americans think that weed should be legal, then it should just be voted in. But the reason why it's not is because the people that are voting are old and rich people. Rich people don't want weed to be legal because they have stocks put into cigarette companies or alcohol companies or rope companies or whatever else that hemp and weed can, pharmaceuticals, all that shit. They have a vested interest in them continuing to do the things that they're doing. They have a vested interest in status quo, and old people still think of reefer madness every time they hear somebody talking about being on the pot.
That's a great movie, by the way.
I was told to watch the first 10 minutes and then shut it off. I never watched it. I have no care about it. I mean, to me, it's just propaganda, and I don't want to subject myself to that kind of lunacy. I would rather just smoke a bowl and watch Breaking Amish.
Is that why you liked it?
No. You know I can't smoke. God damn it. But nevertheless, that's what they're talking about. If your vote really fucking mattered, shit would be different. What are you doing on your phone?
I'm working, actually.
Okay, good. All right. Continuing on.
I'm not just playing.
Yeah, you are. I can hear bleep noises. You're playing a game. There is an astounding paradox in it. Too many of those with the least economic and cultural power don't fully avail themselves of their political power. A vote is the great equalizer, but only when it is cast. Bullshit.
Yes.
I just think that's bullshit. Nobody cares about your fucking vote. You're voting for the president, and it doesn't matter because the electoral college essentially has the last say. The only reason why our so-called democracy hasn't been called out for the sham that it is because more often than not, and I can say that now because of certain elections recently, more often than not, the popular vote is in line with the electoral college vote.
Correct.
And that's the only reason why we haven't had major uproar over, well, nobody voted for this guy, but yet he's still our president.
We had a little bit.
We started going in that direction, but
it got shut down.
Well, we are in a media country. The media runs shit. That's why
Fox runs the media. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. The strategy here is simple. Break the spirit, muddy the waters, make voting feel onerous and outcomes ambiguous, and make it feel like a natural growth of tedium and bickering, and not a well-funded, well-designed effort. Make us subsist on personality politics rather than principled ones. Reality TV. That's all the presidential election is now. Reality TV. You watch two guys lambaste each other and call each other fucking pricks, and at the end of the day, you pick the one that you think has the best idea, but not because of anything other than the substance that you see on TV, and usually not even that. I remember when Obama was first running, I would go out to bars and talk to people, and that is the best place to go to find people who are completely and utterly ignorant about everything that's going on in their lives around them. People in bars. I'm sorry, people in bars. I'm one of you, and that's how I can say we're ignorant about everything that's going on around us. I would talk to people and I would say, who are you voting for? And every one of them said, Obama. Why are you voting for Obama? Because he's not Bush. And that was it. They said, well, what on his platform do you like? Oh, I like his healthcare ideas. Okay, what are those? Well, he believes in everybody having healthcare. Okay, but what specifically is he got that's a better idea than anybody else's? Well, he wants to give everybody healthcare. I mean, do you see the fucking the way that this is going?
Yeah.
Everybody had the same fucking opinion, and it was always the same bullshit. They took one fucking tagline and said, that sounds like a good idea. Not, well, how are we going to make this work? How much money is this going to cost? What's actually going to be the practice behind it? And now we're seeing what the practice behind it is, and where are we at? And a website that doesn't work, and people who are like somebody in my life that I know who has decided that instead of getting healthcare, she's just going to pay the penalty because it's cheaper. Yeah, a whole lot of people I don't think thought of that one from the get-go.
No.
All this is a way for the government to get more fucking money through taxing. But it's not even taxing. It's kind of like a bullshit tax. You're not paying taxes on this, that, or the other thing. You're paying taxes on not having healthcare. So now if you have healthcare, you pay taxes because you're purchasing something.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine.
Yes.
And now if you don't have healthcare, you're paying taxes because you don't have healthcare. So you're paying the purchase tax on an item that you don't get any benefit out of.
Right.
That's all it's come down to. And because of the fact that the penalty is 1% of your income for the year, I believe it is, for most people, that's a hell of a lot cheaper than paying $200-$300 a month for healthcare.
Yes.
My parents, who are older, and they have health problems, and they have a whole lot of things that they go through, but nevertheless, they pay like $600-$700 a month in their healthcare. And for what? For pills that are marked up 500%, and procedures that are marked up 5,000%.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck? That's what people voted for. And if you'd have told most people back then what's going on now, they'd be like, fuck that guy. We're going to not vote for anybody because they all have the same fucking ideas. It's just a different way of doing it. And this, if you want to keep your doctor, keep your doctor. Okay, well, so what? So I can keep my doctor, but I still have to get health care. And that's the problem. I don't even have a doctor, and I have health insurance. I have health insurance through my work, and I go see my doctor whenever I get hurt. And more often than not, that's going to an urgent care facility because they know me there. What the fuck? I told you were playing a video game.
I'm not. I'm working on my sounds.
Anyways, you destroyed my train of thought, so
Sorry.
I'm continue on. Hyena sounds?
Yeah.
The greatest trick up the sleeves of the moneyed and powerful is their diabolical ability to render themselves invisible and undetectable, to recede and operate behind a front, one relatable and common. Our politics are overrun with characters acting at the behest of shadows. These are the politicians to whom we have become accustomed. Too much polish and too much beam, which is precisely the reason they should warrant our suspicion and not our trust, the way one cannot trust a cook with pots too pretty and not burnt black on the bottoms. Well, that's a good fucking... Jesus. And yet too many people shrug or sleep when they should seethe. We should be in a rage over the Roberts Court seemingly implacable drive to vest corporations with the rights of people and unleash the full fury of billionaires to bend our politics to their will. Again, weed. Smoke weed every day. We should be in a rage over the widespread attempts to disenfranchise voters, from the gutting of the Voting Rights Acts to the rise of the voter ID movement, a near naked attempt by conservatives to diminish the number of Democratic voters. Well, fuck you, man. Illegals should not be allowed to vote because they're here illegally. Now, I'm all for telling them, hey, run out to the voting polls and then just picking them up and taking them across the border. I think that's a great idea. And I don't think that dead people should be allowed to vote. Yet that always kind of seems to happen. And that's usually a Republican thing. You hear about that every fucking voting year.
I don't have a problem with dead people voting if it's actually them.
So you should be able to say, I'm a staunch Republican, and even after I'm dead, I want to vote for everything Republican?
No, that's not what I mean. If they want to vote, they need to come back and vote.
Oh, so zombies have to go into the voting polls?
Yeah.
We're going to have zombie-only facilities? I can't believe we're discussing this as if it's realistic. Oh, no, I definitely agree with separate drinking fountains for zombies and humans. I think that we should definitely segregate against zombies, because that shit's just dangerous. But no, I mean, the voter ID movement, that's a thing to fucking make people who should be voting vote. If you have a problem with saying who you are and proving it with a photo ID, you have a lot more problems than just voting. If you can't at a moment's notice whip out a fucking photo ID, you're either under the age of fucking 16 and shouldn't be voting because,
You're
or
an idiot.
Well, or you're somehow beyond the law. Like,
I used to see it every weekend when people can't produce IDs.
I know, and it's ridiculous. If you can't fucking show an ID at a bar, how did you get here? Anyways.
A lot of people don't actually carry their driver license.
And that's fucking stupid. When I
agree.
started to realize that in my older age, I was aghast at that. I didn't understand how you could walk around and not have a form of ID on you. But, whatever.
When I was 16, I wanted people to see my driver's license.
Damn right.
It's
not like
I
porn
wanted,
magazines.
It's not like I wanted to be pulled over, but at the same time, I wanted to be pulled over just to go, I have a license.
Yeah. Find me. We should be in a rage over Republican efforts, particularly on the state level, to drag the range of women's reproductive options back to the 1960s. No, I have no opinion on
I do. They're progressing a little bit. I mean, it was the 50s.
that. Like, I agree with abortions. I think that at least 60% of the pregnant women in this world should have abortions because we have too many people and 90% of them are stupid and their parents are all stupid as well. We should call the herd, round them up, put them in camps, right? Stupid people camps. What the fuck is that?
People in camps.
Sounds like people outside the ovens, though. We should be in a rage over the extraordinary pressures facing ordinary families. According to the New York Times economics blog, economics spelled with an X, that's witty. College costs have risen over 500% since 1985. Medical and gas costs more than 300%. And the Pew Research Center reported Tuesday that in inflation-adjusted dollars, average weekly childcare expenses for families with working mothers who paid for childcare rose 70% from 1985 to 2011. Shit's too expensive nowadays. I agree with that. Especially college costs. Now that we live in a society where it's cheaper to not go to college and make more money than people who are going to college. I don't know I know one person who is technically in the field that he went to college for. Okay. A buddy of mine went to college for criminal justice, and right now he works as a security guy, an internal security guy for a major retailer.
Okay.
He's the only person I know that is doing right now what they went to college for.
I guess what's his name? Didn't go to college. He was in the armed forces.
Nah.
So
my boss at work was an English major, and she now runs a warehouse. My brother-in-law went to school for anthropology, and he works at a phone company. Which I guess if you want to, spit in one eye and squint the other is pretty fucking close.
Well, we got our old boss who got a degree in sociology and made her...
made her the perfect person to run a business. Ugh. And yet a report last week from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities found that some 69% of the cuts in House Budget Committee Chairman Paul Ryan's new budget would come from programs that serve people of limited means. Well, that's cool, isn't it? Let me read that again. To make laser rifles.
I was supposed to have at a rim shop. After you made your joke,
Oh. That was a great rim shot. We should start using that every time. That's a laser rifle.
That's supposed to be rim shots.
Okay. I want to read that paragraph again because I was half paying attention. And yet, a report last week from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities found that some 69% of the cuts in the House Budget Committee Chairman Paul Ryan's new budget would come from programs that serve people with limited means. Well, that's cool. We should be in a rage over the fact that people in this country can work a full-time job and not earn a living wage. Yes. Yes, we should. That's fucking bullshit. It is goddamn horseshit. But you get a whole bunch of small business owners that say, well, if I have to actually pay people $14, $15 an hour, I'm not going to make enough money to, keep afloat. Well, you raise the prices of your product. I mean, I can't think that it would really make that much difference. If I sell 1,000 widgets for $1 each, and I have to pay my people $2 more, that means I have to raise the price of my widgets, what, a dime? I mean, I'm doing fast, hard, loose math, but I mean, when you spread it out over, I mean, if every employee of McDonald's was making $15 an hour, how much is the dollar burger really going to go up? 10 cents? Because, I mean, it's already gone up. The dollar burger isn't a dollar anymore. It's a buck
It's,
fucking 25
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
at like $1.29 now.
So, who's getting that money? Why did the price go up 30 cents?
Because cheese prices went up.
Went up how much?
29 or 30 cents.
Bullshit. There's no way that the price of cheese, for the little ass slices of cheese that they give you on a burger, went up fucking 30 cents a slice.
Me and my brother were actually talking about this the other day, and if you look at the double cheeseburger, it's like it went up like 60 cents or something for 2 slices of cheese.
Yeah, but there's no fucking way that anybody can say. I guess I'll have to look into the price of cheese right now.
I don't know.
But I'm still paying $1 for a fucking pack of cheese at Giant Eagle.
Yeah, I know.
And there's a hell of a lot more fucking slices of cheese than that.
Yeah, it's like $1 or something.
There's like $1.50 or something like that. There's like $3 for 2 packs.
Yeah, well, it also depends on the level of sliced cheese you like. There are different brands.
Well, I like the Giant Eagle sliced cheese because it's cheaper.
Well, I've seen ones for like 69 cents, and those things are just like oil and
yeah, those things are
oil
like
and
plastic.
vinegar. Yeah, you throw them in the microwave and they don't melt for
an hour and a half,
45 minutes.
We should be in a rage that this country's infrastructure is literally crumbling beneath us. The 2013 report card for America's infrastructure, produced by the American Society of Civil Engineers, gave our infrastructure an overall grade of D plus.
That's not bad.
It's passing, and estimated that $3.6 trillion would be needed to fix it by 2020. Well, the American Society of Civil Engineers is doing a report on America's infrastructure. If that doesn't scream of we want to be paid more money, I mean, now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there aren't potholes in every inch of fucking road from here to anywhere else in the world. Well, from here to anywhere where you want to go. I mean, the fucking roads are shit.
Hey, I got a tangent to go off on if you want to hear about potholes in the road.
Oh, give it to me.
The street my parents live on.
Yes.
The city actually sent everyone on that street a letter. I saw this letter. Read the letter.
I wish you would have brought it in.
I could probably find it.
Well, can't find it now.
Yeah, it looks good on radio.
Yeah.
But I read it, and because I was complaining to my mom, I'm like, are they ever going to fix your road? It's horrible. All they do is every year they come out and patch holes that appear in the road, and the patches are horrible. And she goes, "Oh, that won't happen. We voted against that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, they sent a letter to everyone on the street saying, "We'll fix this road, but we are going to raise your taxes." I'm like, "You're already paying taxes to get this stuff fixed."
Yeah. Well, that's the patch jobs.
It's just going to get to a point where the city's going to have to do it. The road's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's next to well, there was a school there which moved out, a YMCA.
Oh, well. Everybody wants to stay at the YMCA. That was your tangent?
That was it. It just the taxes and roads don't make sense. You're already getting taxed. Why aren't they fixing the roads?
But they're fixing the roads. They do patch jobs.
Yeah, horrible patch jobs.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
If they actually spent the money right, they can get stuff better to go on the roads. They just won't switch because of contracts.
Yet again, it all comes down to money made. I mean, just right there. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave us a D plus and estimated that we would have to pay them $3.6 trillion to fix fucking shit.
And that's why we had E-Check in Ohio.
That's why I think we should outsource all of our infrastructure stuff to other countries.
Canada.
Because in Canada there are no problems with anything infrastructure-wise.
It's because they have donuts and hockey.
Yeah, donuts and hockey. All right. We should be in a rage that we are spiraling toward cataclysmic, irreversible climate change with little interest or effort in averting it, with little coverage and less than accurate coverage. All right. I'm going to say this right now, and I can't wait to hear from people who are going to just tear me up one side and down the other. Yeah, that's nice. About climate change. All right? Things are cyclical in this world. That's a long clip. things are cyclical in this world. When we had an ice age not too long ago,
Yes.
fucking everything froze. Now shit's getting hot. Because of all the polar vortexes and all that shit, everybody thinks this last winter was god fucking awful. The simple fact of the matter is, this was like the hottest winter that we've had in like decades.
This pissed me off. I spent $300 on brand new snow tires.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Wasted my money this year.
I mean, yes, shit's heating up. It is. But you know what we can do about it? Fucking nothing. There ain't shit that we can do about it.
Not according to Al Gore.
What's Al Gore's fucking plan?
I don't know.
Get fucking electric cars? Okay. Cool. What the hell is that?
It's Al Gore's intro.
It's Al Gore. I mean, nobody wants to buy fucking electric cars.
I do, but I can't afford one.
Well, there you go. Because yet again, it all comes down to money. And fucking solar panels. I had just an uproarious discussion with a person in my life recently about fucking solar panels.
I would use solar panels, but once again, I don't have $50,000.
And they also don't do shit. You have, to power your house with solar panels.
It'd have to be covered with solar panels.
You have to cover the whole fucking house with solar panels. One little panel of solar panel, one of those little black squares, is enough to power like a quarter of a AAA battery. Like, they're fucking horribly inefficient. So if you want to fucking sink money into figuring out ways to do shit, yet again, it comes back to weed. Welcome to the weed show, ladies and gentlemen. People aren't gonna...
Can you know what we support?
Smoke weed every day.
No, not every day.
Every day. Every day. But
it's illegal. Move to Colorado first.
Yeah, move to Colorado. Smoke weed every day. But nobody wants to pay to figure out an easier way to do things because, yet again, you've got automotive companies who are willing to suck billions of dollars into fuck you, and power companies who are willing to suck billions of dollars into fuck you because they don't want solar, power to become the thing because they will be out of business. Cars don't want electric cars to go and to become the thing because then gasoline companies will go out of business. If you make it, you're trying to take the giants of industry and give them a way to not exist. And they're not going to go for that because at the end of the day, they have more fucking money than we do. And they're willing to sink all of their money into making more money because they understand you have to spend money to make money. And they'll spend it all just to keep their businesses afloat. It's just like the small business owner who doesn't want to raise the, wages because then they'll be out of business because they will lose money. Yeah. But where rage should be, there is too often a whimper. When will we demand the country we deserve, reflective of its people, protective of its people, simply of its people? When will the young and the poor and the aggrieved and the forsaken walk abreast to the polls and then to the public squares? If we don't like the government we have, we can change it. If we don't like the path we're on, we can alter it. Yeah. Democracy is durable, but not incorruptible. The very purity of the concept invites those determined to alter it, to tilt it toward oligarchy, to slowly, imperceptibly, if possible, bring it to a calamitous end. The drift of the boat seems inconsequential until it encounters the falls. Well,
did you say oligarchy?
Oligarchy.
I have not heard that word since forever.
I know. It's an old word.
Wow, I like this guy who wrote this, or a woman who wrote this article.
That's a guy.
Guy.
His last name is Blow. I already
Joe
clicked it off. No, Joseph Blow. But no, we're not going to be able to do anything about the direction this company is going because at the end of the day, like you said, people don't care because it's not really impacting most people's lives.
I disagree with you. It's not. I don't think it's not people don't care. I think it's they feel like they can't do anything. It's not like back when government was formed, when these regular guys were doing stuff to make changes in the government.
Well, there's only one way we can do things then. Exactly what they did. Rebel.
And then you end up getting labeled like the Westboro Church, a bunch of crazies and wacko. Not that I'm condoning.
Well, I don't understand exactly what you're trying to say with that. That's a completely.
When a lot of people are just judged when they start doing stuff that they're wackos.
That's because most people are wackos. That's because most people start with an idea and have no way to support that idea and no ideas to make it a viable purpose at the end of the day. I mean, what would people do? How do you turn it around? And everybody goes, oh, well, we just need to, not rely on the government so much. Well, then who are we going to rely on? Well, we should rely on ourselves. Well, then people should stop being so upset because they're getting called names. If we're going to rely on ourselves, then we have to take personal responsibility for our actions and stop suing everybody because of one thing or another.
Hey, I like my McDonald's coffee cold.
Yeah. Well, that's all part of it. We've got too many people fucking up, and nobody's wanting to take their responsibilities for it. And we're just getting railroaded by all of these insurance companies, and stating what the price is you pay for things. I mean, doctors aren't complaining about the price of healthcare, are they? Because that's how they make money. Because it's the insurance companies that say, well, this procedure is going to cost you this much money. It's going to cost you $5,000 to have that hangnail removed. I'm sorry, it's just the price. But don't worry, the insurance company will pick up 60% of it for you. Isn't that a great deal? No! Because I can do that shit at home for free. I mean, if it really costs that much money to do some of these procedures, all right, well, prove to me why. It's not. I mean, it's because
it's called government billing. Government pays $5,000 for the hammer.
Yeah. Well, ugh. I don't know. It's just annoying me. That whole article. I wish I would have never come up with that one.
That's why I was like, I knew that was opening up a whole can of worms.
All right. Next,
because we're actually trying to stop ourselves to keep talking about this.
I know. All right. Next, moving on. Adding insult to gun injuries. Police. Yeah, get your gun sound effects. Right?
I already got it. That was weak as hell.
That's a cock. That's a fire.
That was weak.
Police often handcuff victims. 2 days after he was shot, this is from New York Times. 2 days after he was shot, Andre Daly woke in a haze with a police officer standing by his hospital bed in Brooklyn. Already, I'm already gearing up my fuck you. I'm thinking he's going to talk about the incident that happened to me, how I got shot. Mr. Daly, 29, recently recalled, Jesus, period. But the officer was not there to interview Mr. Daly. He had come to arrest him over an unpaid summons. He's telling me how I'm a prisoner of New York City because I have a warrant. Mr. Daly spent more than a week immobilized, not just by his 3 bullet wounds, but also by a set of handcuff and ankle restraints, all because of an unpaid $25 fine for possessing a cup of wine in public. So he broke the law and didn't pay his fine, which is further breaking the law. The hell is... Oh, breaking. Gotcha. What happened to Mr. Daly in December was no fluke. The New York Police Department routinely performs warrant checks on shooting victims. Which, okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. If you're getting shot, it's either because A, you're an innocent victim, or B, you're somebody who got shot for a purpose. If an outstanding warrant is found, the police generally handcuff and shackle the victim, often for the whole hospital stay, no matter how minor the underlying offense or how grievous the injuries.
There was a lonely fox that lived far away.
That's the procedure. The department's chief spokesman, Stephen Davis, said, explaining that the patrol guide says prisoners will be handcuffed at all times. Yeah, sounds good. We're not handcuffing him by virtue of him being a victim, Mr. Davis said, referring in general to instances where shooting victims were arrested on minor warrants. But if he has a warrant, it would require him to be in our custody. Okay. Patients who are arrested on warrant violations are typically held by the police under harsher conditions than those who are wounded while either committing crimes or struggling with the police. In those cases, suspects are often provided a lawyer comparatively quickly and fall under the supervision of the correction department, whose rules limit the use of restraints. Yes, but goddamn the ignorance of fucking people in this motherfucking world that have a platform to talk on. Oh God. Like I can really talk.
Wait a minute, let me get this straight. Please. So this guy was shot. I got this straight.
And they did a background check on him.
Okay.
Found out he had a warrant.
And handcuffed him to the bed.
I would imagine for no reason other than to impinge upon his civil rights. And to just be barbaric and awful and horrible to this poor man who was shot 3 times. Either that or they didn't want him to run. Again. From the fine that he didn't pay. The first time, $25. I'm sorry. If you have a $25 fine and you don't pay it, you're a fucking idiot.
Unless he has no job. Wait a minute.
That ain't my problem. He had a glass of wine in public.
You know what? I do have a problem with this, with them doing this.
Oh God.
Why couldn't they just put a guard on the door?
I imagine they did. Well, they had a police officer with him.
Why did he need to be handcuffed to the bed?
That's the procedure, the department chief spokesman Stephen Davis said, explaining that the patrol guide says prisoners will be handcuffed at all times. It's policy.
He's in a bed. You put a guard on the door. You can't open hospital windows.
That's the procedure, the department chief spokesman Stephen Davis said, explaining that the patrol guide says prisoners will be handcuffed at all times.
Another policy that's idiotic.
Well, I mean, I think that's a blanket policy. Prisoners will be handcuffed at all times.
So they're teaching their police officers not to think. The man is in the hospital. Can't get through the windows.
Okay. So instead of saying we want to restrain them so that nothing's going to happen, an almost foregone guarantee that nothing's going to happen, we would rather instead put one of our officers in possible danger by leaving him open to do whatever he wants to do.
All right.
What if he comes out that door and attacks him? What if he grabs the cop's gun? What if by handcuffing him to the bed, you are taking away the what if scenario.
But you can ask the hospital to restrain him in restraints where he doesn't hurt himself. People can hurt themselves in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So
you don't have a problem with the restraints, you have a problem with the handcuff.
Yeah. He's in the hospital for a reason right now.
Yeah.
You're treating him like an animal, like he doesn't have a reason.
No, he's an animal.
He had an open container. He's not a pederass.
Well, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's the procedure. The department chief spokesman Stephen Davis said, explaining that the patrol guide says prisoners will be handcuffed at all times.
Alarm bells are ringing.
I don't know. All right.
Patients who are arrested on warrant violations are typically held by the police under harsher conditions. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but okay. In those cases, suspects are often provided a lawyer comparatively quickly and fall under the supervision of the correction department, whose rules limit the use of restraints. Now, the thing that I wanted to say about that, before you so rudely fucking interrupted me, I hope the mic picked up that growl.
All units, this is Central DCC. Multiple SWAT units responding. Code 3. SWAT is needed for high-risk arrest, warrant service, and possible hostage rescue at Toronto.
Why am I pausing for that? Turn it off. So in a normal situation where somebody's being arrested,
Yes.
they're being taken, processed, put into a cell, and of course it's easy to have a lawyer comparatively quickly. But there's a little thing called the law. And in the law, it states that if somebody's under any sort of sedation, i.e. drunk or under sedation, they cannot be questioned by anybody.
Right.
Because anything they say is going to be suspect. And there's also another thing, that you have a right to a lawyer, but you also have to ask for it. It isn't just given to you.
I know.
So there you go. There's the difference. There's no point in having a lawyer come into a fucking hospital because anything the guy says is going to be inadmissible and not usable. I would imagine that after the guy's better or whatever, then they take him in for processing and then he gets a fucking lawyer.
Yes.
So that whole paragraph is a bullshit fucking paragraph. However, the police department patrol guide says that its policy is to handcuff all hospitalized prisoners to ensure the safety of persons present and prevent escape. Look at what I said. The patrol guide does recognize a few exceptions, including prisoners who are comatose or paralyzed. So there you go. In nearly all cases, an officer is assigned to guard the prisoner. So there you go. Police officials say they did not keep statistics regarding how many of the city's 1,299 shooting victims last year were arrested on warrants. It is standard police practice to check them for warrants, Mr. Davis, the police spokesman, explained, as part of the victimology, a police phrase for researching the background of a crime victim. That can offer clues on who might have menaced the victim in the past, as well as help detectives assess the victim's credibility as they put together a case. When someone is shot and when they go to investigate, they will run him for warrants, Mr. Davis said, which is completely and utterly realistic and rational to me.
Mm-hmm.
When victims and their lawyers say that it is one thing to look into a victim's background, it is quite another to use a warrant as grounds to shackle people for days or weeks while they are recovering from gunshot wounds. Anytime that victims and lawyers are saying anything, I want to tell them to go fuck themselves. Well, okay, not anytime. More often than not. Obviously, if it was me, I would have a completely different thing. It is particularly egregious when they have minor offenses, said Seymour W. James, Jr., the lawyer in charge of the Legal Aid Society's criminal practice, which represents many of the hospitalized prisoners. They consider everybody who has a warrant a fugitive. Yeah! Really? Isn't that the definition of a fugitive? Somebody who's running from the law in some manner or another?
Why don't they actually go for a warrant for someone who's made a crime that's a little bit worse than an open container?
Yes, but you get fined for that. And if you don't pay your fine, then it goes into that stage of it. The $25 fine. Go pay the fucking fight.
Why are we reading an article over a guy got handcuffed in the bed for a $25 open container?
Well, that's not what the whole article is about. They're bitching about the practice in general. After inquiries by the New York...
I guess I'm focusing too much on one point.
You are absolutely focusing too much on one point. After inquiries by the New York Times, Susan Herman, a deputy police commissioner who is examining ways for the department to improve its interactions with crime victims, said in a recent interview that she intended to review the department's practice of handcuffing shooting victims held on minor warrants. I think it's a policy that we absolutely will be reviewing, Ms. Herman said. Warrants for unpaid tickets are not uncommon, particularly among young black men in high-crime neighborhoods where the police focus their enforcement efforts. According to the court system, there are 1.2 million outstanding warrants coming from the city's criminal court, which handles only violations and misdemeanors. Many are for unpaid summonses. The policy can cause health complications. Dr. John Raba, who has been appointed by a federal judge in New York to monitor the treatment of hospitalized prisoners in the custody of the Corrections Department, said immobilizing prisoners could generally impede healing and increase the risk of blood clots. Okay, I guess there is that. But don't commit crimes! LeQuint Singleton had been shot in the back but was being held on by the police because of 2 outstanding warrants. One for an open container of alcohol, and another for disorderly conduct summons, which is essentially a stupid tax. Anytime that you're in there for disorderly conduct or impeding police procedures or anything like that, it's because you're a fucking idiot and you're doing stupid shit. Mr. Singleton said he recalled that as he was being prepared for surgery in August to staunch internal bleeding, he had to wait while the doctors were arguing with the cop about the handcuff. The doctor tells him it has to come off. There's no way it's staying on. He's going into surgery. The handcuffs were removed during surgery, but by the time Mr. Singleton woke, he found himself handcuffed and shackled again, and would remain so for about 3 weeks, he said. It wasn't like they were serious cases. It wasn't like I was on the run, Mr. Singleton said. I didn't do anything wrong. I got shot. Well, okay, you are on the run, because if you had a warrant out for your arrest, that's kind of what being on the run means. If you didn't pay your fine,
Maybe
you're
he
on
didn't pay
the
his
run
fine because he
from
got
it.
shot.
So you're saying that he was on his way to the courthouse to pay his fine and got shot in the back.
Yeah.
That he should have paid it in a better neighborhood.
Cop shouldn't have shot
He
him.
should have gone to the white neighborhood. One 19-year-old man who has been shot several times on February 16th but was arrested in the hospital on a warrant over a disorderly conduct summons, stupid tax, said that after a week of being handcuffed to the hospital bed, he urged the police to take him to court even though he was still wounded. I was like, I got to get out of here, said the man who asked to be identified as Roy, a shortened version of his
Roy.
a shortened version of his middle name, because he feared retaliation.
What, gangs?
Roy. What would a shortened version of Roy? What would the long version of Roy be?
Oh, that's easy.
What?
Royce.
Royce?
Yeah.
Or maybe Leroy?
Or Leroy.
Or Royale with cheese? Roy said he was so weak that an officer had to support his slight frame as they entered the courtroom. It was hard for me to walk, he said. A judge told him to stay out of trouble and released him, recalled Roy's lawyer. Oh my god, I want to try and read this name. Bharati Narumanchi.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese? They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese? They get the metric system on the quarter pounder. And what do they call it? They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. I like that. Judge told him to stay out of Bharati Narumanchi, who confirmed Roy's account of his detention at Brookdale Hospital in Brooklyn. The lawyer added that Roy did not have the strength to immediately leave the courthouse. He first lay down on a bench to rest, at which point he was ticketed for sleeping in public. That was a great look. Another shooting victim, Kenneth Briggs, 53, was handcuffed at Mount Sinai St. Luke's Hospital for several weeks while he was in a medically induced coma after he was shot on July 28th. He said the police had told him he was handcuffed because of 3 outstanding warrants, all for nonviolent offenses. I woke up and tried to move, but they had me handcuffed, Mr. Briggs recalled during a recent interview at Rikers Island, where he is serving a sentence for the sale of counterfeit Knicks tickets. Oh God, what a stupid crime. He said that after he woke up from his coma, the restraints remained on for many days, delaying his physical therapy. As soon as the restraints came off, he said, he began to hobble around his room in the hospital, relearning how to walk. They didn't start physical therapy until after I was uncuffed, he said. Well, no shit. And I'm sorry, but if you're in a coma for a couple of days, it's going to take you a while to fucking get your feet underneath you again. I'm sure that wasn't the handcuffs' fault. Asked if he was bitter about the whole experience, Mr. Briggs responded, I'm mainly bitter about being shot. Well, no shit. The policy also affects the relatives of people in custody, forcing visitors to get a permission slip from the police, which is good for only one visit. Mr. Daly's mother, Selma Cooley, said that when Mr. Daly underwent surgery at Brookdale Hospital on December 15th, she was barred from seeing her son that day. An officer said, "We can't come because he's under arrest and we have to go to the precinct," Ms. Coley said. Mr. Daly said his warrant stemmed from an episode last summer. He said that while at a barbecue, he walked outside to talk on the phone and placed a cup of wine on the yard's fence, which led to a summons from a passing officer. He missed his court date, he said, because he could not find a sitter for his 4-year-old son. Well, you take the kid with you. After his arrest in the hospital, Mr. Daly said shackles were placed on his ankles and his one good hand was handcuffed to the bed. His other hand had been shattered by a bullet, requiring the insertion of pins. The restraints left him unable to move much. He could not scratch an itch or adjust the colostomy bag that he was using as a remote of a bullet that passed through his stomach. Jesus Christ. Well, he was at a barbecue in the summer, and he was... I'll go back to the top. I'm trying to figure out when it was. I want to see how long this guy went without paying his fucking fine. If he couldn't find a fucking sitter one day, then I don't know. Fucking. Yeah. When doctors wanted to examine an exit wound on his backside, shot me in my ass. They had to first ask the officer to uncuff him so that he could be turned over. A new officer came to guard him every 8 or 12 hours. A captain, Mr. Daly said, would periodically stick his head into the room to make sure I'm handcuffed and shackled. Mostly the officers passed the time playing games on their cell phones. Mr. Daly said he could hear the sounds of the game Candy Crush.
We're back to Candy Crush.
It all comes back to Candy Crush. Jesus Christ. At least if you're going to fuck off at work, turn off the sound. I think that's the most egregious thing about the whole thing. These cops are playing Candy Crush. I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. You want to know why I don't have any problems about being handcuffed? Is because A, I don't commit crimes, and B, if I do, I pay for them as soon as possible. Because I don't want to get shot and then wind up handcuffed. I really don't want to get shot. But
you don't know what you're missing.
I'm sure I don't. But I mean, fucking... It just enrages me. The fucking rights of criminals that people give a shit. I mean...
You don't think the handcuffs impede some of his recovery? Doctors had to take time to argue with the police. Hey, we need to do surgery. Can you take the cuffs off? No, we can. It's policy.
Well, if you think that possibly someday you might be in the hospital for something, I would suggest you don't commit crimes.
Yeah, I'm sure his crime was so huge to warrant this article.
Well, it was, open container. How about you don't take the glass of wine out with you to make a fucking phone call?
Some people are stupid.
Come on. Well, then pain should follow stupidity every time. I'm sorry. You don't take the fucking cup of wine out to make a phone call. Yeah, you don't.
I agree with you, but some people don't think.
And they should be handcuffed to their beds
All
when
right.
they get shot.
So you're saying the punishment for this fits the crime?
Yeah.
All right, then I have no problems with this then.
Well, what do you mean? It's the policy. The guy's already running from the law. That's what you do when you don't pay your fines for an extended amount of time, long enough to have a warrant put out for your arrest. That's what a warrant is. You get a ticket. Here's the progression of it. You get a ticket. And if you're an intelligent fucking person, you pay the goddamn ticket. But if you don't come to your court hearing, then you get a warrant put out for your arrest.
All right.
And I'm sure that this wasn't something that he needed to go to the courthouse for. More often than not, I've had a lot of tickets for driving and shit like that. And they tell you, mail your check in. or just go to the courthouse on this day and just pay your fucking fine. You just go and you do it. And a lot of times I see little fucking children there because I couldn't find a babysitter. I had to bring my kid. I don't think they're going to tell you you can't have your kid in there. They don't give a shit as long as they're getting paid. Was that cheese or G? Yeah. Anyways, but so you fucking go pay your $25 ticket. And if you don't make it for your court date, then they set up a fucking warrant for you because you are now in lieu of the law. You are now at a point where you are evading the law. And if you're getting to that point, then you should be fucking found and held accountable for your actions. You were so fucking willing to agree with me on being held accountable for your actions before. Where did it go?
My problem is he's being treated just like a person who evaded a warrant who has a drug charge.
Well, you can't really make distinctions. It's policy, man.
And that goes back to my original point. Sometimes these people are taught not to think. The man had chance of infection with these handcuffs on going in the operating room.
Yeah. Well, they took the handcuffs off.
After an argument with the doctor. They messed his chances up because the doctors then had to argue that he needs his handcuffs off to have rehab.
Yeah.
They then impeded the rehab. This is what I have problems with.
Yeah. Well, pay your tickets.
So they're willing to follow the policy far enough to where this man only had an open container ticket where he could have died.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Pay your ticket. Well, then they sue the fucking police.
After he's dead.
And
Great
they make
for his
a
family.
bunch of fucking money. I don't know. I mean, that's why you get those lawsuits where people are suing the cops because you.
And that's why I have a problem because people aren't thinking anymore.
Well, the only reason that I have a problem
They're
with
following
because,
a policy, black and white, period.
yeah.
And then trying to use it to cover their ass.
Well, that's how policies work. That's the purpose of policies. To cover your ass.
To take out thinking from humans.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Of course, now I'm arguing the opposite of what I was saying earlier. I just think if you're going to commit crimes, then
You're saying that as if he shot someone. How many times you've walked around with an open container?
never. What do you mean? In a place where I shouldn't be?
Yeah.
Once. The one time when I was 23 and I went to a bar and somebody said, hey, let's go outside and smoke. I took my beer with me because I didn't know. I walked outside and the bartender came out and said, hey, asshole, you can't have that out here. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And you know what I did? I took it back inside and I never did it again. It's true.
I can remember a lot of times drinking with you outside.
Yeah, but we were outside in the fenced-in area of the bar.
Or sitting out in front of someone's front lawn drinking tequila.
It's private property. And that wasn't a drink. That was an entire bottle. Big difference.
Sorry.
That was many drinks. I didn't get caught. And if I would have gotten caught, what do you think I would have done with my ticket?
I don't know.
That's
Paid
right,
it.
I would have paid it. Because if I ever get shot, I don't want to be handcuffed in my fucking hospital bed.
You don't have kids, though.
So what?
You always put your kids first.
Exactly. Anytime there's shooting going on, you always put them out right in front of you. What does that have to do with anything?
I just think... Never mind.
It's a $25 fine. You pay the fucking
I
ticket.
agree. But you never know what was going on in his life. You're just judging him black and white. I had a fine. Should be handcuffed.
Yeah. You pay your ticket. And then you don't get handcuffed. That's what good, upstanding people do in a community. We live in a fucking society here, man. And you're either going to be a part of the society or you're going to be against the fucking society. And if you're against the society, I'm against you not being handcuffed in your hospital bed. I'm gonna have to leave our email addresses up the whole thing. This one. All right. Moving on. Oh, my new bit that I really, really badly want to do.
Morse
Ohio
code?
judge. What?
You want to start doing Morse code?
Morse code, exactly. Ohio judge orders man to hold "I'm a bully" sign. Yay! I can't wait to do this. South Euclid, Ohio. An Ohio judge has ordered a man. All right, right. An Ohio judge has ordered a man convicted of harassing a neighbor and her disabled children to stand on a street corner with a sign that says "I am a bully." I would make it say "I am a giant cocksucker," but that's just me. The municipal court judge says 62-year-old Edmund Aviv of South Euclid must hold the sign for 5 hours Sunday.
Wait a minute. What was he doing to these people?
It will read, "I am a bully. I pick on children that are disabled, and I am intolerant of those that are different from myself." Well, I hope this guy's like 8 feet tall. That's going to be a big fucking sign. Judge Gail Williams Byers told Fox 8. Oh, this fucking judge. Court records say Aviv has feuded with his neighbors, the Proch family, for 15 years. He recently pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct. Scott Proch said it started when his parents adopted 2 black children with the developmental disabilities, Fox8.com reported. Proch said Aviv once set up a dryer in his garage so that he could pour kerosene into it and the fumes would make their home smell of gas. That's a good gag. The Plain Dealer newspaper in Cleveland reports that the Prochs say Aviv has called them ethnic slurs, spit on them, and smeared feces on the family's wheelchair ramp and in one of their cars. Oh, this guy's a pisser. He would do things like shine a spotlight at their house at 3 in the morning so the family couldn't sleep, Williams Byers said. This guy's a dick. What a fucking asshole.
I think I like him.
Aviv also must serve 15 days in jail and undergo anger management classes and counseling. Aviv offered his sincere apology in a court-ordered apology later and admitted to calling the kids names. Oh, God. So this judge, this is like...
Did he ever fill a bag with shit and set it on fire?
They smeared shit on their wheelchair ramp. Oh, what an asshole this guy is. Oh, shit.
I gotta find out he's got Twitter or something.
He's 65. I don't think he's tweeting anybody.
Hopefully he's on Facebook.
He's gonna Instagram the picture of him looking fucking sad with his sign.
What? Is his name in the...
Aviv. Edmund Aviv.
Dude, I gotta find out if he's got Facebook or something.
Edmund Aviv. Oh, God. I'm crying. So this judge, fucking, for anybody who doesn't know, this judge has, this is like the 3rd time, I think now, that she has sentenced somebody to stand out on a street corner with a fucking sign saying, "I'm a dick for what I did." And
she must be a fan of Die Hard.
Oh, I've got a machine gun now too.
No, the 3rd one.
What?
The one with Samuel Jackson where they make him wear a sign out in the street.
No, Bruce Willis had to wear the sign.
Or Bruce Willis.
It said, "I hate enters."
Yeah.
Walking down, what was it, Harlem?
Yeah, in Harlem.
Oh, God. But, so this judge keeps doing this shit, sending people out to stand on fucking corners. And here's my new bit. The next time she does this, I'm going to figure out when it's going to be, where it's going to be, and I'm going to go stand out with a sign of my own. I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to fit the occasion, but this, I think, is going to be a great way to get press for the show. Oh, I can't wait to do this bit. Whew. That's really all I had to say about that one. It's just hysterical. He's shit on their fucking wheelchair ramp. What an asshole. Like, what an utter asshole. Ugh. Alright. Last thing I have for this week is furry news.
Woo, our furries again.
Going back to after a week off, we got furry news again. Load! Website's not loading. You talk.
About what?
I don't know. Talk about something.
Let me see. Let me check my notes.
Check your notes.
Breaking
Amish.
We will be having guests as soon as we can get them all lined up.
As soon as we can do guests. Yes.
And just for a lucky audience, I might have a line on someone who is a furry. Or someone who doesn't like furries who has a lot of information.
Now, how do you not like furries and have a lot of information on furries?
I don't know. That's why I need to talk to them.
How do you not like furries?
I don't know any,
Like, of all of the fucking... Wasn't the one guy that we used to game with, wasn't he a furry? Somebody we used to game with was a furry. Wasn't it?
Was it a girl?
No.
Who also likes banking?
Huh?
Was she into that too?
No,
I
she
can't
was into
remember.
spanking. She liked getting her ass smacked. Oh, God.
Are you thinking about it right now?
All the way up until you raped her in the game.
Shut up.
And made her cry.
He's an idiot.
You have to tell that story. All right, I'll tell it because it's better
No, I'm
when
not
I tell
telling
it.
the story.
I'll tell the story.
It's just going to make me look bad.
You raped her in a game, man.
Shut
How could you
up.
look good? We were playing a role-playing game, paper and dice. We were playing werewolf. Going back into the furry thing. We were playing with somebody who was a girl, and we were playing a nasty game, a very hardcore, very nasty game. It was all about bad, nasty things. And she thought that she was going to get one over on one of the very, very evil characters by doing something kind of silly for a wolf to be doing to a very, very evil wolf character. She kind of stuck her ass in his face and farted on him. She thought that was clever. Well, that guy thought it was a turn on. So Dennis, taking over the part of the evil,
Which
nasty
I said
wolf.
before I started this game, it was not PG-13. It was going to be mature and rated R.
He raped her.
I never raped her.
I could just see, like, how did it happen? Because I wasn't in the room at the time. How did it happen? Were you rolling dice to see
No,
if he
all
could
I
overpower
said was
her?
he was trying to mount her, and she didn't fight back and start crying. We didn't get anywhere with it. The whole point was her to fight back and kill him. Instead, she laid down and let it happen.
I wish I had some dice so I could make dice rolling noises and be like, all right, yep, he's sticking it in your ass. That was a crit right there. I just see you rolling dice on
I
raping
didn't
a
even
bitch.
roll dice.
Oh my god, that was the best fucking story. Oh, I love that story. Again, we'll be happy to take your emails. Oh, there you go.
That was weak as hell.
Oh, fuck it. Hold on a second. Fucking keep talking. I'm gonna find a thing of dice. Oh, here we go. Right here. Right here. Didn't have to go far, folks. Okay. Now. Okay. Yep, that's a crit. You're getting raped. And he comes in your butt.
You just gotta go over that line.
Roll sphincter control to see if it doesn't dribble out a little bit. Nope. It's coming out.
Someone's getting hit after the show.
I'm always surprised when I don't get hit during the show. Alright. Moving on to Furry News Network.
And right into the furry news.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I have found the Furry News Network. So whenever I find something that is appropriate for our show, I'll be bringing it up. Of course, I'm going to have to now debate that talking about Dennis raping a girl in a game is fucking proper for our show. Allegedly raping a girl in the game. This furry has an ironic fear of animals. This is from the Ask Papa Bear section of the website. Apparently, Pop. Why do all the new effects you have are fucking so long? Papa Bear apparently is a guy that you can send your furry questions to and ask him about your furry problems. Hi, Papa Bear. First, I am sorry for my bad English. I'll try to do my best, though. So I think I have a really weird problem. I'm reading this as this is written. Anytime that somebody complains about bad English, I'm going to read it exactly as it's written.
Allegedly. I
love furries since I was 14. In parentheses, something like that. But I'm afraid of animals. I can't even approach a dog, or I have to control myself. Well, that doesn't sound like a fear exactly. That sounds more like a... My question is it normal to be like this? Afraid of animals or a furry? I am a furry. I love artworks about it, and I can't touch any animals. Isn't it a shame for someone like me? Thanks in advance. It's really bothering me. Whatever this guy's name is.
Don't say his name.
Dear, whatever his name. Well, it's on a fucking website. Who gives a shit? This is a new one on me, really. One of the traits of every furry I have thus far met is that they are animal lovers. You can love your animals. Just don't love your animals. There must be something you like about animals. Their fur, their tails, wings, snouts, something, even if it is just their little red rocket. That's not it. That attracts you to them. Otherwise, you would not be a furry. Yet the disconnect between reality and fantasy is not unique to you. For example, many a young girl falls in love with her collection of plastic horses, but get her near a real horse cock and she screams in terror and runs away. He didn't actually put cock. I love bears, but I certainly would not want to stand face to face with a real grizzly in its natural habitat. Same thing likely with all of those wolf furries out there who, I would bet, would be most uncomfortable hiking in Montana only to come across a pack of real-life timber wolves. Those are cases, of course, of wild animals, except for the horses. You say you are afraid of all animals, including dogs, cats, pet birds, even fish. One possible explanation is that you've had a traumatic past experience with a pet. You didn't mention that, but it's also possible that it happened when you were very young and your mind is suppressing the experience. It might not even be a real-life experience that triggered the fear. For instance, a lot of people came to fear sharks because of the movie Jaws, or big dogs because of the movie Cujo, or rats from the movie Ben. Sometimes, too, fears are just in your head for no reason. The very definition of phobia is irrational fear. Some pet phobias include cynophobia, fear of dogs. Would that be like canophobia? Caninophobia?
I'm looking it up now.
Well, I'm sure it is cynophobia. I'm just saying.
Cynophobia, the fear of dogs or of rabies.
Ooh. Ailurophobia, fear of cats. That should be pussophobia.
Well, the fear of animals is zoophobia.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me to pronounce the fear of wild animals.
Wild zoophobia?
God, you're making me do it.
Is it wild zoophobia?
No, it's argazoophobia.
Argazoophobia?
Yeah.
Sure. Ornithophobia, fear of birds, which that makes sense. Ichthyophobia, fear of fish. Opiophobia, fear of snakes. Leporophobia, fear of rabbits. And so on. And of course, there's my favorite, arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. Ooh, that's going to be my furry character. I'm going to be a big spider.
It's not an animal.
Sure it is.
No, that is.
I'm going to be a big furry tarantula.
Not even going to argue.
No, I'm going to argue this stupid, idiotic point with me. I don't exactly pee my pants at the sight of a spider, and I'm fine with most of them, even tarantulas. See?
He's an idiot.
But I totally freak out at the sight of a black widow spider. It's not really
Who doesn't?
That's not really an irrational phobia because I know someone who was bitten by a venomous spider, but I do understand how an animal can make your skin crawl. It's a good thing you don't have maskophobia or seriously the fear of masks, because then you'd never be able to go to a furry convention. You have to have maskophobia when we go to the furry convention.
No, I got the fear of everything.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm trying to look up the name of that.
Why people fear some specific things is not always well understood. If it is not caused by a traumatic event in the past, it could be learned behavior from your parents or from other family members, for example.
Maybe his parents were furries.
Maybe his parents are afraid that he's a fucking furry.
They'd come in every night when he's sleeping and dance around him.
Don't be weird. There might, in some cases, even be a case for genetic memory. That is, for example, our ancestors learned that some snakes were venomous and becoming afraid of them, and that fear somehow being encoded in our brains over generations. This might seem a good explanation for some fears, such as snakes, falling, wolves, etc., but not for others, such as the fear of cheese, torophobia, or the fear of beards, pogonophobia. If you have the latter, don't look at me, because he's a big bear. Your fear of cats and dogs could be manifestation of ancestral fears of such things as wolves and lions, a stretching it hypothesis. I would vote that more likely it has to do with something in your past or learned behavior. What? Oh. Yeah, that was a great one. Like all behaviors, the good news is that you can unlearn it. The basic approach is to face your fears in a controlled, step-by-step manner, gradually exposing yourself to the thing that you fear in a safe environment and slowly increasing your exposure to it. Here's a useful explanation of that. Ooh, wikihow.com, overcome phobia. Like when Indiana Jones in that big snake pit, that helped him a lot. He wasn't afraid of snakes at all. Well, yeah, actually he was. That didn't help a fucking bit. Perhaps your interest in the furry fandom is you unconsciously trying to get over the fear in your own way. You know, many fur cons donate money to animal charities. You might try going to a fur con, an environment where you would at least feel safe and surrounded by people you like, and talk to the people at one of those charities and look at the animals they often bring with them. Tell them about your phobia and see if they might not let you touch or pet one of their animals. Doing so under the supervision of a pet handler might make it easier for you. So that is the long-winded response to your question. While fearing animals is not a hugely unusual phobia, it is quite uncommon among furries. But the good news is that you can overcome your fear if you really wish to. Good luck, Papa Bear.
Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. I like Papa Bear. I want to get Papa Bear on the show. That'd be a fun interview.
I like that.
So, those are all the articles that I had for today. You got anything else?
No, I'm just looking for a furry costume for you now.
Oh, I like the fucking Fred Flintstone one. It's great, furry.
Well, I don't actually see a website.
Oh
for
my
furry
god, I
costumes.
want to go to a furry convention dressed up as a fucking animal catcher.
Come on, this dog catcher.
Start fucking grabbing people with a pole.
Get one of those huge cartoon nets.
Oh, that's priceless. Oh, god damn.
You know, that might not work in our advantage now I'm thinking about it.
Why not? How could that not?
They might actually like it.
Yeah. Well, then I'll go around and catch the chicks. Fucking net me
You
up
might
one.
not know they're a chick until they take the mask off.
Oh, you can tell.
You said in that episode of CSI you couldn't tell.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it all fucking Crocodile Dundee like. I'm just gonna walk up to people and start grabbing their crotches. It's a Sheila, and then I'll fucking catch her in the net.
I'll tie them down.
I'll look underneath their little skirts and see if they're a boy or a girl. That'll be my thing.
I'll pick their tail up. Check under the tail.
Fucking exactly. I mean, look at this. I looked up a lot of pictures of furries, and I saw
Is that male or female?
Who gives a shit? You get the one. Fucking look at the one right there, the hot bitch. Fucking yeah. You can tell that's a girl. Anyways, so you have nothing else. I have nothing else. I guess we're done for today. So until next week, this is Andy and Dennis.
Dennis.
I'm fucking talking.
Sorry.
This is Andy. And there went Dennis. Talk to you next week.
Bye.